Catherine. Today I'm going to show you how to make a smoked pork butt. This recipe comes to us from former Deputy Culinary Editor James Shend. If you've got the time, this smoked pork butt is the recipe for you. The long, slow smoke is going to flavor this pork through and through. It's perfect for summer parties, picnics, and barbecues. Today I'm using a bone-in pork shoulder. You can use the shoulder or the butt. They come from similar areas, and both are fatty, tough pieces of meat that benefit from a long, low, slow cook. Let's start with the rub. I've got brown sugar, some kosher salt, paprika, chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, and last, some oregano. We love this all-purpose meat seasoning from Taste of Home, but feel free to use your own recipe or a packaged rub that you really like. It's just nice to get something rubbed on the outside of that meat to help form a good crust while it smokes, and of course, to add flavor. Okay, that's all mixed up. The next thing I'm going to use is a mixture of apple cider and apple cider vinegar. I'll spritz this on the outside of the pork butt when I put it on the smoker, and then every hour. That's going to help keep the meat moist as well as add some good flavor. I just want to pat the meat dry. This is going to help the mustard and the seasoning stick to the meat. I'm going to trim off a little bit of this excess fat. Don't trim it all off because that fat equals flavor. But it's a little thick in some parts, so then I want to just trim that off. I'm leaving about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of the fat cap on here. Just a little bit of this excess comes off. Okay, now we're ready for the good stuff. I'm brushing mustard all over the outside of the meat, on all sides, and this is going to help our rub stick to the meat. I want that mustard on all sides of the meat. I'm using a spicy brown mustard, and that is going to add flavor as well as helping the rub adhere to the meat. Now it's time to add the rub that we made earlier. And I'm going to get this on all sides. Gets a little messy, but that's okay. And to be sure that we get that top half too. Okay, and here's a little trick of mine. I don't like to waste any of that rub that fell on the tray, so I'm just turning the meat to get the rub that's on the tray onto my meat. Okay, now we're ready for the smoker. The smoker I'm using today uses wood pellets. They don't need any preparation at all. I just fill the bin and the smoker does the rest. If your smoker uses wood chips or chunks, you're going to want to soak those for about 30 minutes before you put them in the smoker. That will create a moist, smoky environment for optimal smoke flavor. Preheat the smoker to 275. I'm using applewood today. Applewood or hickory are both great options for pork. Gently transfer the meat to the smoker. Give it a good spritz with the apple cider mixture. This is going to smoke for about 5 hours, and I'm coming back every hour to give it another spritz to keep the meat from drying out. Every time I come out, I'm going to see the color of that meat get darker. Okay, it's been 5 hours. It's time to transfer this to a cast iron skillet, hit it with that vinegar mixture again, and wrap it tightly with foil. Wrapping it up helps the meat cook through and through. We're going to keep it on the smoker until it reaches the desired doneness. Let this go another 2 to 3 hours. For sliced pork, you want an internal temperature of 190 to 195 degrees. For shredded pork, let that go to 200 to 205 degrees. I'm using a meat probe that is part of the smoker, but any meat thermometer will do. Ooh la la, look at that meat. It's so tender, it is just falling away here. I barely have to use any effort to shred it. And I'm going to keep that nice bark on some of these pieces. Where the meat is pink, that's the smoke ring. That's the flavor right there. Here we have it. This couldn't have been easier. I set the meat on the smoker and let the smoker do all the work. I'm serving this today with traditional barbecue sides, but make it your own and serve it with rolls or however you like it. If you have any leftovers, just pop it in the freezer, put some of those cooking juices over it, and it'll last for up to 3 months. But for now, let's dig in.